What is it, guys? Truman here, welcome back to another video. So it is time for me to take off that ridiculous hat because it is too hot in here and I don't care about the state of my hair. And today I'm going to be talking about MGTOW. It's been a while since I've done that. And more specifically, I wanted to talk about dating culture and how a lot of it has changed from before now and on into the future. Because, unfortunately, I'm not old enough to remember it, but there was a time when you could actually hook up with someone without your phone. When you could actually, maybe there was some phone calls involved, but maybe, it was a lot less digital and it was a lot less invasive. Now, since I've got Facebook, that was a real ram to the head for me, because I really saw that when you take away the ability to see all about someone's life before you actually meet them, it's a lot more like an adventure. It's a lot less also like an interview, because when you see someone's Facebook, it's almost like there's like a screening process. All the mystery is gone. You can see them. This is what they do. This is what they like, and this is what they look like when they're dressed up as this and this, that, and the other. And it sort of breaks down the whole thing around it. It's sort of just like, oh, hey, I've seen like 1,000 photos of you, but this is the first conversation I've had said to you face to face. I'm so glad I quit Facebook. Now, I actually made a video on that, but I'm still like worried about posting it for the simple reason that there's a bit about Nazis that I need to properly flesh out, because if I don't say it properly, the internet will crucify me. But yeah, so really, I think a lot has changed. Mainly because I think since the advent of technology and since women gained the ability to message multiple men at once, there's the threat of cheating, or the idea of someone getting with someone and them having some other backup person is really, really high. It is a lot less personal. So I'm not saying that there wasn't cheating in the past. However, there was a study, and I'll try and post it, showing that at least, like, I can't remember the exact number. It's like 40 to 60, in between 40 to 60% of women who date or use online dating or just date in general usually have a backup guy that they're talking to, just in case they'll say, it doesn't fall through, or, they don't like the person. Now, this has sort of two sides to it, because on the one side, you can say, well, it's a backup, you could be a douchebag. Or on the other side, you can say, well, this is just someone who you'll cheat with, but who's to say that you'll actually be honest about it? Because very few people cheat and then are actually honest about it. Those people tend to be more on the whole sociopathic side. They just love the idea of being able to get with someone and then deceive this person and then get with someone else. So technology has really changed the way people date. And I remember when I was growing up, there was this whole stereotypical thing about dating, going to a restaurant and then thinking of words to say and then asking her out really, really dramatically and stuff like that. Luckily, that doesn't happen as much as it did, because let's face it, that form of dating is ridiculous. I think it's, I don't know, I always look in. I mean, it is nice to go to a restaurant, now and again, but I find it kind of fake. I don't know, I just find it really, really fake and really plastery. My idea of it, especially if you want to find someone who really jives with you on various different levels, is to do something that you love doing and hopefully do it in the public, or go into a group of people who are doing something that you like doing, and then you will meet people of a similar interest. As aside from, just getting with someone, or, finding someone in like a pub, or, at a rave or at a party, you don't know anything about them, you don't know what they're interested in. And yeah, you can grill them with questions, which unfortunately most men do. Most men treat it like a questionnaire. Or you could, tease it out of them, and then you could actually find out about them. But the problem is that when you get it in those sorts of areas, people are very likely to lie. People are really likely to exaggerate. However, like for example, if you like guitar, you could go to meetups where everyone gets together for a jam session, or maybe if you like, I don't know, tabletop video games, you can go to Comic-Con or something like that. If you take what you like, take what you like doing, find a public forum where there are other people doing the same thing, and then meet people there. That is a much better way of finding people who are more in jive with you. And it also avoids the morning after phenomena, where you wake up and you realize that the person that you slept with is literally the complete opposite of who you thought they were, although you were drunk yesterday, so who cares? Now, obviously, this does go both ways. This isn't one of those videos where I just needlessly pick on women. Men also do the same thing. I think with the advent of technology and just being able to talk to multiple women at once, the ability to cheat has really gone through the roof. And trust in general in our society is at an all-time low. Like, I'm seeing so many men now just totally check out of the dating game and just say, you know what, forget it, because of a few, bad breakups. But it was because of technology and because of all sorts of other factors and also government policies that allows them to basically do this sort of stuff. So I think for many men, dating is really, really, really off the table. table, and many men don't even think that it's an actual possibility. Now, me personally, I know that when I actually get myself together and actually I'm on a stable street, people will find me. I found that my life is very synchronicitous. That people come into your life at the right time for the right reasons, based on the energy that you're bringing out. Like, for example, I would find that if I was in a very, very negative place, I would attract very, very negative women, but I wouldn't really be thinking about that. I think, oh yeah, there's a real connection. And then like 2 years in the future, I'll be like, holy shit, that was like me, that was like a female version of me 2 years ago when I was fucked up. So yeah, you will attract the person that you like. This is why you don't honestly worry that much about dating too much, because things will happen. The key thing, I think, for any man or any woman or anyone, especially if they're into sort of personal development, is to become the best version of yourself. I say this again and again. If you build it, they will come. It's that simple. And I know that's a funny phrase, but still, if you build it, they will come. If you create and be a living avatar of the best examples of your own life, not for their sake, but for your sake, because why wouldn't you want to for your own sake? Then they will come, and then you can choose who you want to stay in your life with. So I made a Tinder account at the beginning of the year just as an experiment, and I made a video about it. And if you want to hear more about that, go check it out. But basically, it really did drive home to me the sort of one-sided nature of dating these days. Because naturally, in just natural selection, women are selectors. Women, they take a look out of all the men who they could choose from, and they pick and choose who it is. The man's job, biologically speaking, is to so-called peacock, is to be the best out of all of them, and hopefully, and then attract the one who will see you as the best and who you want. I mean, that's just who we are biologically. Now, I think luckily most men are actually starting to see through the game now, because as technology has advanced, many more men can actually see that actually I don't have to be a peacock and I don't have to try and be the best for all these selection of women to choose me. They're seeing that they can basically check out of the game and basically work on themselves and sort of use that principle of attraction, whereby they become a shining beacon for themselves, and then whoever comes, they can then pick and choose. So it's almost like the whole roles are being reversed. Now, that's the main difference between an alpha male and a beta male. And I know people hate those terms, but those are real things. Although they're not set specific states. Many people think that you can point at someone and say, oh, he's an alpha male all the time. You can point at someone else and say he's a beta male all the time. It's a fluctuating state. You can find that there are many people who you think are alpha, and then you see them behind closed doors and they're beta as fuck. Or the other way around, you can see someone who's very meek in public, but then when he gets home, he's completely different. He owns the place. You see what I mean? So luckily, a lot of men are actually seeing how to basically check out of their system. And if you are trying to check out of the system, piece of advice, you probably don't need this, but delete Tinder. Stuff like that, online dating, all that sort of stuff. Unless you really know how to use it, all it's going to do is suck away all of your motivation and all of your drive. Because I actually experimented with it. I did do a video on this at the beginning of the year, and I saw just how absolutely skewed the numbers are. Because the average woman, if she's even decently good looking, will get hundreds of different likes and hundreds of different people actually looking at it. Whereas a man will be the one constantly swiping. Is it left or right? I think it's, I don't know. Swiping to say that yes, they like again and again and again and again. So the dating system is completely skewed, and what you'll find is that this sort of goes back to my point about dating as well, is that with these sorts of apps and with this technology, it allows women to basically say, oh, I don't like you, I'll go with this guy because I've been talking to him for like the past month or so, and I've even been talking to him while we've been dating, and seeing as, you didn't, pay for my dinner for the 4th time, I'm going to go to him because he seems like he has more money. Those sorts of women are absolutely rife on Tinder. It's very hard to get, especially in most online dating sites, a decent quality women on those sort of sites. And all this bloody chaos is the reason why there are so many confused men out there. I mean, I can only imagine what it would be like growing up now as like a 17-year-old boy or even a 16-year-old boy right now in current society. You're seeing people basically say that, oh, you're being misogynist, and oh, you need to side with the feminist or side with the hashtag Me Too, otherwise then, you will rape someone and all this other stuff. And it just, honestly, it flips man's psychology on its head, because men naturally are biologically programmed to understand the game and to understand how to attract the women. And one of the most common things that I see from these yes Me Too movements, and one of the common things I see is that they say no means no. Does it really? Does it really? Does no really mean no? Okay, I'm gonna elaborate on this. Obviously, no means no if no really means no. If no means don't touch me, you freak, I don't want to do anything with you, go away, then yes, you go away. But have you ever heard of playing hard to get? Some of the best experiences I've had with a few of my other previous girls, including my first girlfriend, when I first sort of cracked this, is when I was a bit of a baby back then. This was when about 19, and I was over at her house having fun, and then before I left, I went for a goodbye kiss before I left, and she was sort of pulling back, and I remember just something snapped in my head. I just grabbed her by the throat, pulled her straight towards me, and just we snogged for like 5 minutes. So yeah, no doesn't always mean no. And if you're a 17-year-old boy and you sort of learn that sort of game early on and you hear this sort of propaganda, it turns you into a beta, because it's like women play that. Women play hard to get. It's called a shit test. And if you always walk away from a shit test, guess what? Most of the time you're not going to get laid. It's one of those things. I mean, and again, there's going to be a lot of people watching this like, why do I have to put up with these shit tests? Why do I have to do this and all this other stuff? I can understand, but it's just the way that women work. And if you don't want to play the game, don't play the game. It's fine. But still, like, it's so confusing out there for men. And I really feel sorry for any sort of a man who is like 15, 16, 17 growing up today, because the absolute chaos that is going on around the world, I don't know how they, figure it out. Apart from, like, watching videos like this one, or watching all these other videos whereby men are basically explaining the game. So that is the only main benefit, is that now more than ever we have more resources and more technology to basically teach us and show us how to see through the game, how to play the game, how to check out the game properly, not check out and just be like, oh fuck all women and I'm just going to live in a cave for the rest of my life, which is fine, but don't encourage other people to do it, because we kind of need the human race. Yeah, and all that stuff. So anyway, that's all I've got to say for today. Free man out, and peace.